Who are you, really? Ah, the age-old question. Who are you? No, not your name or what you do for a living. I mean the real you, the one hiding under that thick layer of everyday concerns like, did I just send that text to the wrong person? Or, why do my keys always disappear when I'm in a hurry? So, let's get cozy and peel back the onion layers of your identity, shall we? But beware, like any good onion, this might make you cry a little. Now, let's start by imagining that you're not you at all. Not in the way you think, anyway. Forget the labels, the job titles, the relationship statuses. Those are just the costumes you wear at this grand masquerade ball we call life. Underneath it all, what remains? Who's behind the mask? Here's the punchline. Nothing. Yep, that's right. The big, fat, existential joke on all of us is that when you strip away all those layers, what you're left with is a big, empty space. But hey, don't panic. This isn't the kind of emptiness that leads to existential dread. Oh no, it's much more interesting than that. It's the kind of emptiness that's actually full of potential. Like a blank canvas just waiting for you to paint on it. Or maybe just doodle some silly cartoons. Your choice. You see, when you get down to the core, you're not defined by the things that happen to you. You're the one who's doing the defining. You're the silent observer, the consciousness that sits back with a bag of popcorn and watches the show. And what a show it is. Comedy, tragedy, action, drama, sometimes all in the same day. So, who are you? You're the audience and the star of the play. You're the one who decides what's funny, what's sad, and what's worth getting out of bed for. You're the awareness that's aware of being aware. Confused? Good. That means you're on the right track. Is there really only you? All right. Now that we've established that you're not who you think you are, let's get even weirder. What if I told you that you're not just the star of the show, but also the entire theater, the audience, the popcorn machine, and the janitor sweeping up after everyone leaves? Intrigued? Well, buckle up because this ride is about to get bumpy. Imagine for a second that this whole universe is like one giant cosmic sitcom, and guess what? You're the writer, director, producer, and every single character. That annoying coworker? Yep, that's you. The dog that won't stop barking at 3 a.m.? Also you. The distant star billions of light years away? You again. In fact, everything in existence is just you playing dress-up in different costumes. It's like you're the world's greatest method actor, so deeply immersed in your roles that you've forgotten you're the one who wrote the script. But every once in a while, maybe when you're stuck in traffic or waiting in line at the grocery store, you get a little glimpse of the truth. Wait a minute, you think. Is this whole thing just one big cosmic joke, and I'm the punchline? And the answer is a resounding yes. But don't worry, it's a good joke. The kind that makes you laugh so hard you snort. Because once you realize that everything is you, that there's no separation between you and the rest of the universe, life suddenly feels a lot less lonely. Sure, it might also feel a little bit like a prank you pulled on yourself, but hey, at least you're in on the joke now. What's the deal with the ego? So if you're everything and everyone, why do you feel so darn separate from everything? Enter the ego, the ultimate party pooper. The ego is like that friend who insists on controlling the playlist at the party, even though no one likes their taste in music. It's the part of you that's obsessed with being an individual, with making sure you stand out from the crowd. But here's the twist. The ego isn't some evil villain twirling its mustache and plotting to ruin your life. It's more like an overzealous stage manager who's forgotten that it's just part of the play. The ego's job is to keep you grounded in the physical world, to help you navigate the day-to-day business of being a human. And it's pretty good at that. But it's also really good at convincing you that the mask you're wearing is your actual face. The ego says, you're special, you're unique, you're different from everyone else. And while that can feel pretty good, who doesn't like being special? It also creates a sense of separation. Suddenly, you're not just another wave in the ocean. You're a wave that needs to stand out from all the other waves. And that, my friend, is where the trouble begins. Because the more you try to stand out, the more you forget that you're actually part of something much bigger. You're not just a wave, you're the entire ocean pretending to be a wave for a little while. But the ego doesn't want you to know that. It wants you to keep believing that you're separate, that you're alone in a vast and uncaring universe. And that's where things start to get a little dark. How do you beat the ego at its own game? Now, before you start thinking that the ego is some kind of unbeatable final boss in the video game of life, let me reassure you, there's a cheat code. And it's surprisingly simple. All you have to do is realize that the ego isn't the enemy. It's just another part of the play. It's like the comic relief character who keeps tripping over their own feet. Annoying, sure, but harmless in the grand scheme of things. The trick is to watch the ego in action without getting caught up in its drama. Let it do its thing, but don't take it too seriously. Think of it as background noise, like a radio playing in the other room. It's there, but you don't have to listen to it if you don't want to. Start by observing your thoughts. Notice how the ego loves to butt in with its opinions. Why did they say that to me? Don't they know who I am? Or, I can't believe I made that mistake. I'm such an idiot. But here's the kicker. Those thoughts aren't you. They're just noise. And once you realize that, you can start to tune them out. Next, take a look at your emotions. The ego loves to stir up trouble here too. It's the reason you feel insulted when someone cuts you off in traffic, or why you get jealous when your friend gets a promotion. But just like with your thoughts, these emotions aren't you. They're just the ego throwing a tantrum because it feels threatened. So how do you deal with this? Simple. You laugh at it. Seriously, the next time your ego throws a fit, just imagine it as a cartoon character stomping its feet and pouting. It's hard to take it seriously when you're picturing it as a grumpy little gremlin, isn't it? What happens when you finally get it? So let's say you've managed to outsmart your ego. You've seen through the illusion, and now you're cruising along in life, blissfully aware that everything is you and you are everything. What now? Do you just float around in a state of perpetual zen, completely detached from the world? Not quite. Living as an awakened being doesn't mean you suddenly stop caring about everything. It doesn't mean you quit your job, move to the mountains, and start meditating 24/7, unless that's your thing, in which case, go for it. No, living as an awakened being means something much more interesting. It means you get to play the game of life with full awareness that it's just a game. Imagine playing Monopoly, but instead of getting stressed when you land on boardwalk with a hotel, you just laugh and hand over the Monopoly money. Because you know it's not real money, and it's not the end of the world if you lose. That's what life is like when you've woken up to the truth. You play the game, you enjoy it, but you don't get too attached to the outcome. And the best part? You start to see the divine in everything. Every person you meet, every experience you have, it's all just you in different disguises. Suddenly, that annoying coworker isn't so annoying anymore. They're just another version of you, playing a different role in the grand play. And that realization, it's liberating. Because when you see the world this way, everything becomes an opportunity for connection. You start to live from a place of love, compassion, and understanding. You recognize that we're all in this together, and that the best way to navigate this crazy, beautiful, absurd existence is with a sense of humor and a whole lot of kindness. What's the punchline? So what's the moral of the story? Is there a grand lesson to be learned from all this? Maybe. Or maybe not. After all, life is absurd, unpredictable, and often doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But that's what makes it so much fun. If there's one thing to take away from all this, it's that life is a joke. A cosmic, existential joke with you at the center of it. But it's not a joke at your expense. It's the kind of joke you tell yourself when you need a good laugh. And the punchline? There's only you. Always has been, always will be. So go ahead, laugh. Laugh at the absurdity of it all, at the ridiculousness of taking life too seriously. Laugh at the ego, at the world, at yourself. Because in the end, we're all just playing a part in this wild, unpredictable play called life. And the best way to get through it? With a smile on your face, a spring in your step, and a deep, abiding appreciation for the cosmic joke that is existence. Now go out there and be the best version of you, the one who knows that everything is just one big, beautiful, hilarious illusion. And remember, life is short, but the laughter, that's eternal. If you like the content here at Telos, please consider to share, like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notifications bell to stay connected and never miss out on my future videos. If you want to support the channel, buy me a coffee, link in the description, or send super thanks. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you for your support.